What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Today I'm going to be getting into another stand-up special. This is George Carlin, Life is Worth Losing, Dumb Americans. Now, you always know George Carlin is known for his upbeat topics, his optimistic outlook on life, and just the pride that he gets in his heart whenever he talks about the human race. Nobody loves humans more than George Carlin, and I'm sure that mindset is not going to be changed at any point during this segment. So let's go ahead and get into this and see just how great George Carlin will make you feel about being a person. But before I get into that, just know this video probably is going to have a lot of edits and stuff. Maybe I'll throw in like some music or something. If you've already heard the music, then, well, we're past that point. So let's go ahead and check this out, see what it has to offer.
But say what you want about America, land of the free, home of the brave. We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country. Dumbass motherfuckers, you know? Yeah.
I felt a sneeze coming.
Now,
Stopped
obviously,
it,
that
though.
doesn't include this audience.
Ninja
I
reflexes.
understand that. You seem intelligent and perceptive, but the rest of them, holy jumping fucking shitballs. Dumber than a second coat of paint. And this ain't just ranting and raving. This ain't just blowing off steam. I got a little evidence to support my claim. It just seems to me, that only a really low IQ population could have taken this beautiful continent, this magnificent American landscape that we inherited. Well, actually, we stole it from the Mexicans and the Indians, but hey, it was nice when we stole it. It looked pretty good. It was pristine. Paradise. Have you seen it lately? Have you taken a good look at it lately? It's fucking embarrassing. Only a nation of unenlightened half-wits could have taken this beautiful place and turned it into what it is today, a shopping mall. A big fucking shopping mall. You know that? That's all you got. That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall. Many, many malls. Major malls and mini malls. They put the mini malls in between the major malls. And in between the mini malls, they put the mini marts. And in between the mini marts, you got the car lots, gas stations, muffler shops, laundromats, cheap hotels, fast food joints, strip clubs, and dirty bookstores. America the Beautiful. One big transcontinental commercial cesspool. And how do the people feel about all this? How do the people feel about living in a coast-to-coast shopping mall? Well, they think it's just fucking dandy. They think it is cool as can be, because Americans love the mall. They love the mall. That's where they get to satisfy their two most prominent addictions at the same time: shopping and eating. Millions of semi-conscious Americans, day after day, shuffling through the malls, shopping and eating, especially eating. Americans love to eat. They are fatally attracted
Americans
to
be eating
fast food. Hot dogs, corn dogs, triple bacon, cheeseburgers, deep fried butter dipped in pork fat and cheese whiz, mayonnaise soaked barbecued mozzarella patty melt.
I'm gonna let him continue his little rap for a minute, but when he got to deep fried butter, oh god, that is a thing. Oh man, yeah. Anybody that's outside the United States, if you don't know anything about this, yes, apparently there is such thing as deep fried butter. How the hell does it happen? I have no idea. I just know that like in areas like Wisconsin and stuff like that, they're really big into it. I'm lost. I don't know how some people are able to fry some stuff that they fry. Like, I've seen deep fried watermelon. I've seen deep fried ice cream, which is actually, I think that's actually pretty good though. I've seen deep fried, well, cheese, but then again, that's just cheese sticks, I guess, or mozzarella sticks. I've seen deep fried Kool-Aid. I've seen deep fried, like there are so many deep fried damn things. If you're in America, whatever you happen to have in your pocket for the right price, it can be deep fried.
Cheeseburgers, deep fried butter dipped in pork fat and cheese whiz, mayonnaise soaked barbecued mozzarella patty melts. Americans will eat anything, anything, anything. If you were selling sauteed raccoons' assholes on a stick, Americans would buy them and eat them.
I mean, it's
especially if you
sauteed.
dipped them in butter and put a little salsa on them. This country is big time, pig time. Forget the bald eagle. You know what the national emblem of this country ought to be? A big bowl of macaroni and cheese. A big bowl, because everything in this country is king size. King size,
bowl of
extra
macaroni
large,
and cheese.
super jumbo. Especially the fucking people.
Gotta be baked.
Have you seen some of the people in this country? Have you taken a good look at some of these big fat motherfuckers walking around? Big fat motherfuckers.
Peopleofwalmart.com.
Oh my God.
Trust me.
Huge piles of redundant protoplasm lumbering through the malls like a fleet of interstate buses. The people in this country are immense, massive bellies, monstrous thighs, and big fat fucking asses. And if you stand there for a minute,
Oh
you look
my
at one
God.
of them, you begin to wonder, how does this woman take a shit?
There are some people
How does
out
she
there.
shit?
That's just like,
And even more frightening,
How?
how does she wipe her ass? Can she even locate her asshole? She must require assistance. Are paramedics trained in this field? Standing right next to her, of course, with a plate full of nachos and a mouthful of pie is her clueless fucking husband, Joe Sixpack. With his monstrous swollen beer belly hanging dangerously out over his belt buckle, this guy ain't seen his dick since the Nixon administration.
you ever notice people that have bare bellies like that? They always wear shirts that are a little bit too small. So like their belly like kind of creeps out right underneath it. And it's to the point where like their belly's so big, they have like that little indent where their navel is. So it looks like they have a front ass coming out of the bottom of their shirt. It's crazy.
And if you stand there and you look at the two of them, you begin to wonder to yourself, do these people fuck? Is this man actually capable of fucking this woman? It doesn't seem structurally possible that these two people could achieve penetration. Maybe they're in that Cirque du Soleil or something. Telling you, the people in this country are every one.
They got prescription sex positions.
They are gargantuan. And in the summertime, God help us. In the summertime, they all want to wear short pants. Jesus, Lord, protector of all that is good and holy, deliver me from fat people in short pants. They all got short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Every one of them's got two dumb-ass kids with them. And the whole family is wearing T-shirts, and every one of them's got the same T-shirt. I'm with stupid. Apparently in this country, the stupids are an extended family. And besides wearing them T-shirts, everyone in the family's got on a backpack. They got a backpack strapped to their back so they can carry around lots of stupid shit.
Back in
And
the day, it was fanny
reason they gotta carry
packs.
their stupid shit strapped to their backs is because their hands must remain free at all times to hold food. And to get that food up to the mouth where it gets shoveled in with all the rest of the disgusting shit they ate that day. And another reason for the backpacks is these people are going to buy even more stupid shit. They ain't got enough stupid shit at home. They just had a stupid shit sale. They ain't going to buy more. They're going to go out in the parking lot and stuff this stuff into the big, fat, ugly, oversized SUV that's got plenty of room in it. Plenty of room in it for stupid shit and lots of room left over for these big, fat, ugly motherfuckers to get them home. Stopping, of course, for jelly roll and fried dough.
You know, I'm not really feeling all the optimism that I thought I would coming into this.
These people are efficient, professional, compulsive consumers. It's their civic duty, consumption. It's the new national pastime.
Been trained
Fuck
since
baseball.
birth.
It's consumption. The only true, lasting American value that's left, buying things. Buying things. People spending money they don't have on things they don't need. Money they don't have on things they don't need. So they can max out their credit cards and spend the rest of their lives paying 18% interest on something that costs $12.50. And they didn't like it when they got it home anyway. Not too bright, folks. Not too fucking bright. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They said we need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the test. They say, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades. So more
sometimes
kids
that
can
happens.
pass. More kids pass. The school looks good. Everybody's happy. The IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points. And pretty soon, all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there. It's physics.
Yeah, if I can remember, I'll get into
Everyone
that after the
wonders why
video's over.
17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education. Politicians know that word. They use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind three things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind.
And back in the day, it was women.
Really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind. Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.
It's amazing that he said this, because to this day it's still relevant, especially in America. America, we have one of the most corrupt political systems in the world. And the funny thing is, like, we've become so complacent with it that you don't really stop and think about it. The fact that politicians are getting paid off by companies to do their interests, and they set up these like talking points and arguments to make you think that the other person is the problem, and it's not. Like, both sides of the political aisle are following the same exact donors, and the second we are able to get past that and like get money out of politics and develop kind of like the PBS, the way they're a broadcasting station that's funded by taxpayers. Like, that would be, we need more programs like that. We need to get away from cable and all that other stuff, people that are owned by corporations and things like that, because they're going to give you whatever their interest is. And you can tell that the underlying message of everything is that everything is run by the same people, because, and honestly, this is one of the reasons why I'm actually a fan of Bernie Sanders, because Democrats don't like him. The fact that like CNN and MSNBC are always running hit pieces on Bernie Sanders lets me know that he's on the right path. Like, they're trying to get these establishment candidates like Joe Biden and stuff in, somebody who can barely stay woke long enough to look interested in damn politics. And they're trying to force him, despite the fact that, personally, I see another Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump scenario going down if he does get the nomination. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I think that he'll probably end up winning, but I think that they're overestimating the hell out of his chances. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into this. I've talked long enough. George,
control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people. White collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them.
Now I'm just listening.
They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man.
Look at George. He's like, y'all are clapping and laughing. God damn it, I'm telling the truth. Listen to me.
Nobody seems to care.
These aren't jokes anymore.
The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
That was a hell of a way to go out. That was nice. But yeah, it almost seemed like towards the end, George Carlin was just getting out what he felt in his heart, just trying to get as many people to wake up as possible. Which, by the way, just a little side note, I'm going to get into this thing real quick because there seems to be a lot of issue with the word woke. And it's become synonymous with a certain type of people or with a certain, like, people who have a certain mindset. And if you hear the word woke, most people automatically tune out like, oh, God, one of these people. The word woke just means that you're not asleep. It just, like, if you happen to think that whatever you believe is against what the establishment and society wants you to think, then you're woke. That's all that means. If you happen to be somebody that thinks that the mainstream media is bullshit, you're woke. If you're somebody that believes that the government is funded by billionaires and they're doing whatever they can to be against your best interests, you're woke. Even if you're a Trump supporter and you think that the government and the media and everything else is against Trump, you're woke. Woke doesn't necessarily mean whether you're right or wrong. It just means that you believe that you are outside of what most people wouldn't. You're noticing things that most people on the outside would not notice because everybody else is asleep. So there you go. Hopefully that can clear up some stuff because there's a lot of people that tend to take things and just. This goes into my second thing. This video actually opened up a lot of topics that I wanted to get into for a minute. Some stuff I probably already touched on in the past, but some stuff that needs to be, I guess, re-examined. The idea that there's a problem with the internet in that there's a lot of good came out of it because it got everybody to connect, but some negative came out of it too because now it's gotten to the point where people on the internet are starting to develop these little bubbles where they'll go into it and they'll talk amongst themselves, but anything outside the bubble they just dismiss and don't even bother to look into, talk about, find common ground or anything. Like, you guys know I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I have gone up and down about the fact that I don't believe Michael Jackson has done what he's been accused of doing in these last allegations, mainly because I've been examining them since 2013. And there are so many holes and inconsistencies that any rational thinking person should be able to dismiss it. But there's groups of people that want to take buzzwords and use it to just dismiss other people's arguments for no reason. Like, there's no logical reasoning behind it. Like, the word stan. Oh, you're just a Michael Jackson stan. Since when does being a fan of someone make the truth invalid? I don't get that. Like, I understand you could possibly see some bias in what the person might think, but it comes down to whether or not what they're saying is true or not. It doesn't matter whether you feel a certain way about it or not. Like, if somebody came up to you and offered you a foolproof plan to become a billionaire over your lifetime with some type of business plan, but let's say they come up to you and they say it in a way that is completely disrespectful and it makes you feel a certain way about them. Now, just because they've upset you, does that mean what they said all of a sudden isn't true? No, what they said could very well be true. Now, you can sit there and think of them as being an asshole, but the bottom line is, if they said something that's true, then it's true. You shouldn't be in your feelings and want to throw someone's opinion out the window because they said some stuff that like you don't agree with, or you might already have your mind set on an outcome, which already is illogical and unrational thinking. But if somebody comes up with some idea, but maybe you don't like who they're affiliated with, or you don't like the narrative that they're trying to say, if it's the truth, it's the truth. We need to start understanding that a lot of times it doesn't matter if somebody, like, we don't like somebody, or if we don't want to agree with somebody. If they're telling the truth, they're telling the truth. That goes into politics, that goes into interest, that goes in anything. Nowadays, it's very hard to find a community on the internet where people just get together and can give out their talking points from one, or not talking points, because talking points are a problem also, but we're at this point right now where, like, we can't come down and have a discussion anymore, because, like, people just automatically start getting offended. And with talking points, people will take things that other people have said and just throw it out there because they, like, it's something that they like hearing. With me, whenever I hear someone use certain terms, I automatically start to, like, back out of a conversation, mainly because it's like, you're not even thinking for yourself anymore. When I hear terms like snowflake, for example, like, you're so uncreative, you can't come up with your own. First of all, you're so uncreative, you can't even come up with your own insult. Second of all, that has nothing to do with the discussion. Now you're just dismissing what I'm saying because either you don't have anything to say back to it, or whatever. Like, if you don't have the time to want to have a discussion, or if you think somebody's argument is, well, let's just be real, is stupid, then just agree to disagree and back out. Like, why do you feel like you have to insult somebody? I don't see the point in doing that. Like, it doesn't make you any more right, and it doesn't make them any more wrong. If anything, it just makes you come off as an asshole. And anybody that looks at that discussion, like, if it's on a message board or something, if somebody scrolls through it and see that you flip the hell out and start insulting somebody, in a lot of people's mind, you've lost the argument. Even if you might have said what's right, but the fact that you reacted a certain way, people, and I know, like I said, I just said about how people need to get past their feelings and understand that truth is truth and whatever, and that's true. But the problem is, there are people out there that don't think that way, and that's what I'm talking about. There are too many people that do not think that way. So they'll sit there, and if you start insulting somebody, they'll just automatically assume you lost, and they feel like, okay, well, now I can start insulting and I can stop arguing about what I was right about because, you know, they insulted me. If you remember, I did a reaction to a Bill Burr video, and he said that, like, when you're having an argument with your wife or something, like, if you happen to be right, stay on course. Don't let them swerve you. Anytime they say certain things to get you upset, they're trying to do it on purpose because they want you to say a certain insult. So now the argument isn't about what you were right about. It's about this insult. So that's what a lot of people on the internet like to do. And obviously that was a comedy segment, so don't get on my back about it. But there is some truth to that. People will, like, try to insult you and things like that just so you can get into this argument and get away from what they were losing in. Stay on course, and if things don't work out a certain way, then just respectfully back out, and that's it. Let them talk to themselves in the corner until they eventually settle down, and people on the outside that will look at that argument will see that you're right and they're wrong. Worst case scenario, they'll delete their comments or something, and it'll just like you were talking to yourself. But either way, there are just a lot of things I want to talk about, including, like I said, with school. I don't know where this idea that, like, education is a bad thing is coming from, but you need to stop it. It's I don't want to say it's dumb, but it is. like, we need to start, and I'm speaking for America, because there are some places out there that have already been able to do this, and I think that America, the media and politicians have been very good with being able to get people to think. Yeah, I don't know. I had something in my teeth or something. I don't know. But America, we have a lot of politicians and media are very good at getting us to go against our own interests, and I'm not sure why or how that's happened. It's just, I feel like with more education, if we started focusing on education as a country, we would be able to get past that. Like, we're starting to teach people to not be rational thinkers. Like I said, talking points and things like that, they sound nice, so people just take them and just use them without even looking into them to see if they're true or not. You'll see on social media, people will be sharing stories or memes or posts or whatever else that's 100% not true, but because nobody has enough rational thought to actually look into it and see whether or not what they're posting is true, they'll just post some bullshit and the ignorance will spread on, and eventually it'll get to the point where people just believe it. We're also at a point now where like everybody will just take the first argument that they hear and treat it like gospel, even if some evidence comes out later that goes against it, because it's so convenient to continue to believe what you've already been presented to early on. They just continue to believe the ignorance despite the fact that there's evidence against it. So if you happen to like value rational thought in any way, and or let's say that's an avenue you want to get into, like, oh, well, I'll see myself as a rational thinker, then make sure that whenever you hear claims, you always investigate it. Don't just accept stuff based on your own personal like ideas or your own personal beliefs or narratives or whatever else. Look into it. Look at the facts. Try to fact check. Look at the sources that share these facts. Don't post some shit and, oh, well, this site called the Oniyun says that this happened. So make sure you look at the sources and make sure you look at the reliability of those sources. Look at other stories that the source presents and see if it happens to have a certain narrative or a bias or anything like that. And like that's really it. Like, just that should hopefully get you started on the path of rational thought. There's a lot more into it, but this video's gone on long enough. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I look forward to seeing you guys on a future video. But until then, I'm Devon DaVinci. You just been a little bit more enlightened. I look forward to seeing you guys later. Deuces.